it up. It's The Record Machine with your host, Jimmy Hall.
See your brother's pain and you forgive him. See your sister's joy as your own. Your gentle words ease my burden. Your generous soul gives me hope. You heal my world. Throw your stones of kindness in the ocean. I see it ripple out to souls in need. You give your light and the darkness shall surely disappear. Your smile like a torch across the sea. You're what we need. You're what I need. You're kind to her, she's kind to me. You're kind to him, he's kind to me. It's like a chain reaction, you have set us free. You're kind to her, she's kind to him, he's kind to me. You're kind to her, she's kind to him, he's kind to me. You're kind to her, she's kind to him, he's kind to me. It's like a chain reaction, you have set us free. You're kind to her, she's kind to him, he's kind to me. Oh, yeah. You're kind to her, she's kind to him, and he's kind to me. You're kind to him, he's kind to her, and she's kind to me. It's like a chain reaction, you have set us free. You're kind to her, she's kind to him, and he's kind to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome rock recording artist Kay Britz to the program.
Hi.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Hudson, New York.
Is that where you're from?
Now I am. We just moved here. I was born in Albany. I lived in Saratoga, but I was in New York City for many, many years, and came to Hudson through a few years in Connecticut, but now I'm here.
Nice. You like it?
So much more than I had any idea that I would. Yeah, it's a really interesting place that a lot of artists, a lot of stuff is happening. The food's really good.
That's good. What's the music scene like where you are?
Well, that's the reason we moved here. My husband is with two partners. They're redoing a church that Lenny Kravitz had made a studio years back. And so my husband's taking it over, and they're rebuilding this as a studio with 4 separate rooms. And then, there's the Club Helsinki here that I think, post-COVID is going to get start back up. I believe Steve Weisman, who used to I think he still used to book The Bottom Line, and then Village Underground, Polish National Home, and I think he's going to start booking Helsinki. And so I think, and there are a decent amount of artists that are, just around this area. And I think, in post-COVID, I think even more people have come up. The housing market apparently went crazy.
What's your musical background? How long have you been in the business?
Oh, when I first moved to New York, I played the tail end of CBGB.
Oh, nice.
So just like I started out as a young punk, long after anyone was doing it, of course. But I became friends with Hilly at the time, the owner, and I had 2 little girls. I was a single mom, and I became friends with Hilly, and so they would come, and when he was just launching the website and the whole brand, he took their pictures and in CBGB's shirts, and they were the mascots on the website. So I guess that'll say how long I played. I mean, I started playing guitar when I was 12. I used to have in Saratoga out in the coffee house Cafe Lino, where like Bob Dylan had played once, and it was kind of a coffee house scene. And but it was kind of stuck to the traditional folk idea that you play the folk songs that had been done before. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Cafe Lena is still there, because Lena died at some maybe 20 years ago. But so that's how I started. I mean, I've always played. I always sang. I was Annie in a community production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to a gal about 2 weeks ago. Her name's Teddy Brunetti. I don't know if you ever heard of her. She plays drums, and she said she was in the New York scene too. Around that punk scene, and she played in a band called the B Girls, and she was around the days when Wendy O. Williams was with the Plasmatics, and Debbie Harry was around and all that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely sooner than me, but sure. I will. I don't know. There's not a lot of girls named Teddy. I'm a writer, and I have this TV show in development. My lead character is a girl named Teddy. So that
wow.
I know. That's
pretty cool.
I wrote a TV show so I could put my music on it.
And the show's called? It's
called Spiritualized. It's a show because I'd been a yoga teacher in New York.
Okay.
For a long time when it was, it was very high profile. There were a lot of celebrities coming in and out, and so I wrote a satire about the spiritual industry, and it's getting some traction. I'm working with a development company in LA called Open Gate. We've had some bite, some high profile no's, but my main character, as I said, is Teddy, and I really started out to write the show because I thought I at least could control what music went on it.
And you said it's your music on there, right?
Yeah, I wrote the theme song. I have all of that. I mean, I'll be willing to put other people's music on it.
Okay, can you describe your music?
The stuff right now, I haven't put out the feminist anthems that I used to do when in punk, but I'm actually I don't know if you've heard of the producer Youth. He did Bittersweet Symphony.
Yeah, of course.
He's in England. He's worked with Paul McCartney and electronic music, and he is he's actually reworking some of my material, and that should probably be out within the year. And those are, I can only play, but people think of me as singer-songwriter just because I can only play guitar.
Okay.
and I can play piano, but I can only project what I play myself. But I really like rock and all of its forms, and I, especially knowing Youth, started to really develop a real appreciation for well done electronic music. Because if the songs are well written, it can bring a whole other dimension. So that's what I'm working on now. My theme song is a finger picking little ditty for my show, but I may use that. I may try to use we just recently, my husband produced a cover of the Cream song Presence of the Lord.
Nice.
And it turned out that certainly it blows away my theme song, and that the kind of guitar walk down, Kenny Aronoff's playing on it. It's really good. So, and since we have those masters, I'm considering that might be actually a really great song to use on the show. Anyway, so We'll see.
Influences. Who are some of yours?
I always loved the Rolling Stones. That was years. I never heard Patti Smith till I was way almost 30,
uh-huh.
and everybody said that, everybody's like, oh, because I was in the East Village, and well, it would more be like because because of the way I look, they think I sounded like Debbie Harry, and I did. I was a poor man's Debbie Harry. I was like, but I don't sing like her. And then when I sing, people would bring up Patti Smith, and I said, honestly, I just was influenced by the same people that Patti Smith was, just later, And I really love. I really love Mick Jagger's vocal range. I like when he's goes from being emotional to, the attitude and all the different personalities that he has. When I was like, one of the first songs my guitar teacher gave me was Me and Bobby McGee. And so, of course, to me, screeching like Janice, something I did when I was very young.
Cool.
First, I remember I brought it home for my guitar teacher, and it was my guitar teacher kind of showed me in the Chris Christopherson way of the song, and it's pretty easy because it's just in G. And I brought it home, and I was kind of playing it. My dad was, oh, it's Me and Bobby McGee, and I said, yeah, but it's kind of lame, for me. I don't really know who this is, and it's not really that fun for me. Mm-hmm. And he said, he goes, let me get you another version of that. Nice. And he went out and he bought the Big Brother and the Holding Company with Janice on it, and he said, I think you'll like this. Yeah. And so from my tween years, I probably sang along with that, like every single nuance, to the point where I couldn't even do it originally because I just listened to what she did, over and over and over. I would say everything really classic. I had every Beatles record, because my parents did, and that's again. However, I don't write like, let's say, Loretta Lynn or Dolly Parton, but they're really heroes of mine just because what great songwriters they are. Oh yeah, they're awesome. This podcast is going to feature two of your songs, one of them being "Kind." What's the story behind the song? Well, it was interesting. My husband gets like a call for submissions, and he got something from our ad agency that worked for the UN, and there was a UN campaign. They wanted submissions for COVID during quarantine, and this is we in Connecticut were in full lockdown, and some of it was, I don't know if you remember that, like the beginning of the pandemic, it was all about wash your hands, and that was a big slogan, and 6 feet, when we started using the term social distancing. So the oxymoron, right? Yeah. The e-flyer, the e-flyer said, write a song about wash your hands or social distancing. And I thought, next. Right. I'm not that kind of songwriter. And then just as I was about to get rid of it and say, I saw at the bottom, it said, or you can write about kindness being contagious. And I thought, I think I could do that. Mm-hmm. So I just, because what else were we doing in those early weeks? I just started to write that song, and I put it on my phone. And at the same time, Mystic Bowie, it was a friend of ours, had sent something he was working on to my husband just to see like what he thought of it. And I don't know, Rob just took it and sent my song to Mystic Bowie. Mm-hmm. And he was really, really inspired, and he sent it back with his harmony over it. And we thought, I think we're on to something. And so we were really limited because we didn't have any way for live music to be played where we were staying at the time. So Mystic did come over and played at the other end of the house, recorded at his part at the other end of the house. And then I played guitar, and then we sent it to a production team that I have been working with, Mass Crush in Austin. And so they put on other, they put on the other instruments that we couldn't. And that's how the song came about. And I listened to the other one that you sent me last night, Beast of Burden. That's going to be the other track in this podcast. And you said that you're a big Stones fan. Is that your favorite Stones songs? Is that why you recorded it? That is my favorite Stones song. Very cool. Yeah, that has always been my favorite. The first time I heard it, I was in college, and it was my favorite ever since. It was always that tar intro. And to me, it's such a great song, and I know people have tried to do it with the band, and I know that, like, for me to try to have a great band, well, I'm not going to do what they've done. You know, I'm not, and for me to just try to emulate it in some way, I thought, for me, that's not the best way for me to honor the song. And I thought, I just had this idea because I always loved Jeff Buckley's version of Hallelujah. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what if I did this in a pleading way, like tried to do it so it has that type of intimacy. And so I'd worked with a producer, Larry DeVoskin, who's also from New Jersey, and he kind of he understood what I was going for. I was teaching yoga at the time, and he was one of my yoga students. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if I had just played it while everybody was in the relaxation, because I used to bring my guitar in and sing while everybody was relaxing when I taught yoga. And I can't remember if I did it or we just talked after, but I told him what I was trying to do. And what I obviously changed the lyrics because I didn't want to, because they sang, "You're such a pretty girl." So I had already changed the lyric to "I'm not such a pretty girl," because it just seemed to work to change it from my point of view. And as we were decided, Larry just said, "Come on over to my house, I'll record it." And I had showed him about the intro, "I'm not such a pretty girl," and he said, why don't we do that in the front? It was his idea to put it in the front end and say, let's, you know, and then not everybody knows, you know, you don't know right away what song it is. And then, I mean, I do stick with a little bit of the guitar, and if you really know, if Beast of Burden's your favorite song, you might even know it. You'd be like, oh, well, that's the same chord.
Right.
Chords, but otherwise it's at first it's like not really sure, and then obviously the main line comes in and it's clear, and I just felt like it was a way to love the song without trying to just make a copy of it.
Right. Do you have any plans to release a full-length album or an EP anytime soon?
I will put this song, this Beast of Burden. I'm gonna put this out as a demo because I've heard that there's a lot of interest in it. But I have several songs in an EP that Youth is working with, but we may put them out by, you know, as singles. Very probably cool. Rather than all at once. We're going to see how it goes, and that should probably be within the next few months.
Very nice. If you could record a duet with any artist, who would it be and why?
Oh wow. You know, I that changes from time to time. I don't always the other night I wish Johnny Cash was still alive because I was singing along with him.
That's a good choice.
You know, truthfully, right off the bat, recently I was thinking, God, what would have been so amazing to just sing with him or Willie Nelson. That would be amazing.
That would be pretty kick-ass, Willie Nelson.
Right? I love Willie.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going, I think, right?
I know.
He is. Was he about 80 almost?
I think more than that, or just about, yeah.
Yeah, I think he still smokes, too.
As far as I know, yeah, that's probably true. I can't speak for him, but I suspect. I saw Willie play Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die at 420 on 420. So it was several years ago in Austin. They were dedicating the Willie Nelson statue in Austin, and it was exactly 420.
That's pretty cool.
Of course he did.
Yeah, why not? You got to, right? What's been the highlight of your musical journey so far?
You know, because I've been married to Rob Fraboni, the record producer, I've been pretty lucky at being exposed to the people I've been with. I have to say, the last year was a year of Desert Trip. We got to go to a lot of shows of The Who and be backstage with them. Pete Townsend's guitar tech, Alan Rogan, is a really good friend of my husband's and godfather to a couple of his older children. So we just really got to be inside with the Who. Mm-hmm. And I think just seeing them and that particular tour and them being as amazing as they were, and Roger Daltrey, I think, was even one step higher, half step higher in what he was singing than he did in when the songs were recorded. And I think that seeing them play at Desert Trip at the same time, the night before, it was Neil Young and Paul McCartney, and there were 80,000 people there, and Neil and Paul were singing "Give Peace a Chance" with all of us singing.
That is
and
great.
I was right there in the front with all these people of all ages, teenage girls, obviously people of that generation. And then I think Paul went he did Let It Be and Hey Jude, and we all sang. And I thought, that was one of the things I never imagined I'd do, that I'd actually be singing right here with 80,000 people and a Beatle.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I woke up the next day. After seeing Paul the first weekend, and Neil was amazing too. I wouldn't discount that. That was one of the best performances I'd ever seen of a solo artist. And then I woke up thinking about that night. I kept crying. Every time I thought about it during the day, it was hard not to cry, just remembering the night before. And then we went to see the Who because it was their night. It was their final night. We saw a review, and I might have said this before. A review said they ripped the sky open, and that was exactly what it felt like. It was the kind of thing where we're right up in front with everybody, and first everyone's cheering because they're excited that they're playing exciting songs, and maybe after the third song, everybody stopped clapping. Mm-hmm. Like I looked around, and everyone around us, we were just stunned. Like our jaw was open. People next to me you're just quiet when the music stopped. I'd never experienced anything like that. Like, not quiet, not the awkwardness because it's bad or someone just no one can move.
Now, when you saw the Who, were your ears ringing for like 2 or 3 days afterwards?
My ears always ring, so I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, because I seen them at Giants Stadium in 1989. I was in the third row, and they kicked ass. I mean, they did like songs from Tommy, and then they did their greatest hits. My ears were ringing for like 3 days afterwards, but it was one of the best concerts I've ever seen.
That's funny you say that. I wouldn't notice if my ears were ringing because I've learned to live with it.
Do you have a website that you'd like to promote?
Well, right now I just have my kbritz.com, and it goes to my social media.
And that show, and the show that you're working on and stuff like that, will that be mentioned on there at all? Or
it'll be mentioned in my social media.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm keeping, I haven't, since it's not fully launched, I do have a little sneak peek on both my Facebook page and my Twitter, which you can find, if you just go to kbritz, KVRITZ.com, you can find my, whatever a person likes to communicate through social media. There's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cool. Is there anything that you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
Well, that I am going to release Beast of Burden within the week. It should be available on the Spotify, Apple, everywhere. Like Kind is already available on every format I could think of. It's free on SoundCloud if you listen to SoundCloud. But I will be releasing Beast of Burden in the interim before my sort of formal launch with my music with youth comes out.
Nice. Well, Kelly, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today, and wish you a lot of luck with the new single, Beast of Burden, and also lots of luck on that TV show you're working on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Anytime. Keep in touch. If you got something new you want to promote in the future, definitely reach out, all right?
Okay, wonderful.
All right, you take
care.
care.
Have a great one. Thanks, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Such a pretty girl, and I know you like those pretty girls. Come on, baby, please, please, please. I'll never be your beast of burden. My back is broad, but it's a hurtin'. All I want is for you to make love to me. I'll never be your beast of burden. Walk for miles, my feet are hurting. All I want is for you to make love to me. Am I hard enough? Am I rough enough? Am I rich enough? I'm not too blind to see. I'll never be your beast of burden. So let's go home and draw the curtain. Music on the radio. Come on, baby, make sweet love to me. Am I hard enough? Am I rough enough? Am I rich enough? I'm not too blind to see. Oh, I'm not such a pretty girl, and I know you like those pretty girls. Come on, baby, please, please, please. You can put me out on the street. You can put me out with no shoes on my feet. But put me out, put me out, put me out of misery. All the sickness I can suck it up. All the hurt I just shrug it off. There's one thing, baby, I don't understand. You keep on telling me you're not my kind of man. Aren't I rough enough? Aren't I tough enough? Aren't I rich enough? Please. Never be your beast of burden. I need no fussing, I need no nursing. Never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, ever.